What's up, guys? It's your boy Alex back with another video. Today we're gonna go a little bit more of some of the softer side of real estate and probably going into more of like convincing you why I think real estate is one of the best investments that anybody can make. The conclusion that I came up with over the past few years was that I bought my first real estate investment and it bloomed out to be probably the best investment I could ever have made at my age when I bought it at like 22 or 23. In 2017 is when I bought it. So I guess that was 3 years ago. So I would have been 23. It is currently a rental property and it is in Chicago, bringing me about $36,000 in gross income each and every year. But we're talking about gross income. So I would not consider that as really wealth, and $36,000 is gross income, and that means it's all the income that's coming in, and we're still not calculating the expenses that I have to pay, such as mortgages, maintenance, all that other stuff. In real estate, wealth is not really built through rental income. Rental income is like a nice to have, and obviously you get some money in after all the expenses are deducted, but more than likely you're going to find properties that only profit you about $100 to $300, and if you're lucky, over $500. Needless to say, $100 to $500 per month is not really a lot of money for many people. So why are millionaires and basically billionaires still continue to invest in real estate? In my opinion, I think the wealthy people are not investing into real estate because of the rental income that they get, because you can see $100 to $500 per property and per door is not really a lot. But at the same time, real estate is not just about rental income. It's about the property's value. In terms of the property's value in real estate, you could actually have a lot of tax advantages that can be passed along to your family. On top of that, property values are based on a lot of things that you can personally do to your property to increase the value. Real estate, you could physically go to a building, improve something about the building, and then get it reappraised, and therefore your property's value will increase. In stocks, you cannot exactly do that. You're relying on a company, a bigger company that is run by probably thousands of employees that you have very little say on what to do. And it's not to say that you shouldn't invest in stocks, because I definitely have a portfolio of stocks, but I'm saying that you could probably make a little bit more money through real estate, and if you're willing to put in the work. Earlier, I mentioned that there were tax advantages, and I want to dive into a little bit of that because I think this pertains to every single American that actually pays taxes. So with real estate, there's actually a $250,000 tax exemption if you're single, or $500,000 tax exemption if you're married, so $500,000. If you decide to live on that certain property that you bought for 2 years in the past 5 years. So to clarify, those 2 years that you decide to live on that property, you don't have to consecutively live on that property for 2 years. You could live it on like the first year and then the 5th year, because we are looking into the past 5 years. And if you do that, you're exempt of a minimum of $250,000 when you decide to sell that property. What this really means is that if your home value is more than what you purchased it at, up to $250,000, you don't have to pay taxes for it if you decide to sell it. And this is not just information that I'm like pulling out of my ass. It is actually from the Taxpayer Relief Act of 1997. And on top of some more tax exemptions, let's say that something goes wrong, or you die of old age, or something, where you're gone, right? You have a family and you want to pass it on to your family. So there are actually tax exemptions for that. Before I actually go into more tax exemptions, you have to consider that whenever you pass away and you pass along all your belongings and property to your family, you also have to pass along the debts that you have. So like credit card debt, mortgages, etc. One of these exemptions that you could use for your property capital gains tax is that you could use the 1041 exchange. Essentially, you're just selling a certain property to buy another property, and you could keep on doing this for a lifetime until your lifetime ends. And by the time that you pass away, you could pass it along to your daughter, your son, or whoever for basically tax-free profits, because that 1041 exchange essentially is delaying your taxes of capital gains each time you sell it to reinvest it into a new property. But when it changes from you to your son or daughter, those taxes are essentially wiped away. But let's zoom out a little bit and let's just think about all the property that you will own. And whenever you do pass away and you pass it along to your family, there are actually probably a lot more of value than besides your house and stuff like that. So in the grand scheme of things, this is called the gross estate. And whenever you pass your gross estate down to your family, there are taxes and deductions and everything that follows along with those specific properties, because this is a way so you just don't like basically write everything off whenever you die, because you still have to pass along those debts. And it depends on a lot of specific situations, but in general, you still have to pass along your deductions, your property, your debts, all that other stuff to your family whenever you do pass away. But there are certain exemptions. Based on the American Tax Relief Act of 2012, Americans were exempt up to $5 million from the gross estate that was passed along to the passing family member. The act also takes into consideration inflation. That means in the year 2020, which this video is produced and released, Americans are exempt up to $11.58 million. If your gross estate surpasses $11.58 million, the rest of it will be taxed at 40%. And now that's a lot of money. And if you want to take into consideration the long term of things, and we're talking about not even your lifetime, past your lifetime to your family, and you want to leave a legacy, real estate is probably the easiest way for you to get wealthy, because there's no way that many Americans can make up to $11.58 million by the time they pass away. You might be thinking to yourself, Alex, I don't think I would ever surpass that amount, but okay, what are you actually trying to say? Why are you giving us all this information? The reason why I'm giving you all this information is because I think real estate is the easiest way for most Americans to become millionaires. It is fairly simple. I wouldn't say like easy. I think easy is the wrong word, but I think it is fairly simple for a lot of Americans to invest in real estate, be relatively frugal, spend underneath their means and their income, and save a certain amount for then to reap the reward of becoming millionaires or having a net worth of over $1 million by the time they're 30. Obviously, this takes into consideration a lot of other things and a lot of decisions that you make early on in life, but the better decisions that you make early on in your life, the easier and simpler it is for you to be wealthy at an older age. And this concept is not just me coming out with it, right? This concept is used in the Roth IRA, where you're thinking about maximizing your contributions to your retirement account, and then through compound interest, you will become like, you will still have like, I don't know, $4 million, $5 million by the time you retire at the age of like 68 or something. It depends on how early you invest and how early you plan out your life. For me, I didn't start my Roth IRA until I think I was like 20 or 19. So I should have started it probably at the age of 18, which is, I think, is the legal age that you could start your own Roth IRA account. So I missed out like 2 years of basically compound interest. But if you consider about real estate and also your personal finance at the age of 18, you could start planning out your goals, right? You could start budgeting your life. You could start saving up for a specific goal, because most people need a specific goal in order for them to adhere to certain things. So for me, I didn't really realize that I wanted to get into real estate until I was like 22, 23. And that was a little bit too late, because by the time right now I'm 26. I should have been thinking about these things when I was like 18, because that would have put me ahead of the curve so much. I would have probably be a millionaire at this age right now.
So it's been a few weeks, or actually probably a month and a half or something, since I last recorded the clip, but the message is still there. I think most people should be starting and thinking about their financials at a very young age, especially when they're in high school, because the earlier you do it, the easier it will be in life. I sound like my freaking parents right now, but it is the freaking truth. But I do want to warn you guys that I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax consultant, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have any of that certifications. What I do have is a real estate license that I'm about to have within Texas, because I just took the test, passed it. If you follow my Instagram, you already know I passed the test. Before I even got my license, it took me a while to understand that real estate is really the big money hitter right there. Like it didn't take much for me to get into real estate. It just took a down payment that I saved up, and that's about it. It just took a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and that's about it. I didn't really have to do much, and yeah, I didn't have to like build a business from startup just to get that down payment. I just had it because I saved up and went very frugal with my lifestyle, and that is about it. It's simple. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's simple, right? Like that is exactly what I did. There was no magic involved. There was no me like grinding 24/7. It was just me eating random things that I found that was like frugal and saved money. Like very simple stuff, very fundamental, essential things that most Americans should know and understand how to do. With that being said, thank you guys for watching the video. Please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. It'll help the channel out. It'll help me know that you like this kind of stuff. And on top of that, if you don't like this type of stuff, or you think that I can improve on certain things, please comment down below so I know what to improve on. I try not to take stuff too personally, and I'm trying to learn a little bit more about that. So you being what is that word? Constructive criticism. You putting in some constructive criticism allows me to grow, and also allows me to be more patient with my content, and also cater towards whatever you guys like. So please comment down below whatever you like and whatever you don't like. Subscribe to follow me in my real estate journey. I'm still searching for a house in Texas, in San Antonio. I am licensed now, or I'm about to be, because I still need to pass the background check, but I'm gonna pass with that with no problem. And that is it. I will see you guys later, dude.
Shawty, I know you gon' hate me. I'm finna whip a Mercedes, bet I be driving you crazy.